WLNS is here for you with 6 News at.
A mid-Michigan DoorDash order turns into a violent encounter, something the victim never imagined would happen. It's our top story at 6. Thank you for joining us. I'm Siobhan Klepper. Sherry Jones has the night off. Getting food through apps like DoorDash has become a norm in our society, but one mid-Michigan woman will never do that again after she says her DoorDash driver shot her last night. Our Rachel Ramsey spoke with her today and has her story.
Yeah, Siobhan, it happened yesterday around 5 p.m. in Leone Township. The victim says she ordered some fast food, but things took a turn when the delivery driver didn't follow instructions. And next thing she knew, she had a bullet in her side. She doesn't want to go on camera yet for her safety, but some of her neighbors saw parts of the incident play out.
You just never know when this stuff will happen.
No one thinks ordering some Wendy's will end up with them having a gunshot wound, but that's exactly what police say happened to one customer after she got into an argument with her DoorDash driver.
I just happened to look out and notice a car doing a weird turnaround and heading the other direction.
What neighbor Chris Tripp was watching happen was actually the lead up to a shooting. The victim says she gave her DoorDash driver specific instructions on where to park at her home so the driver didn't get stuck. But she says the driver didn't listen and parked their burgundy Jeep directly in the mud. The victim says she let the driver know that if they got stuck, it's their problem to figure out. The customer says the DoorDash driver then pulled out of her driveway through the neighbor's yard and tore it up. So the victim's boyfriend got in his car to get the DoorDasher's license plate. That's what Tripp was watching happen.
Pulled into the neighbor's parking lot and then pulled back on in front of the truck and then went down the other direction, towards the house again.
As the DoorDasher was headed back towards the home, the victim says she was coming out of the home to try to get more of the car's information. She says the next thing she knew, she had been shot.
I hope she comes out all right.
Police say there were at least 2 people in the DoorDasher's car when the shooting happened. Tripp says he doesn't use DoorDash very much, but he does use other delivery services and wonders what this means for the other apps.
You know, this could have started affecting all that.
The victim is expected to be okay. A DoorDash representative shared a statement with us saying they are in contact with law enforcement, that they are appalled by this violence, and that they have deactivated this DoorDasher's account. Blackman Leone Public Safety says they found the car involved, and they say they are still looking for this person of interest. Siobhan, back to you.
All right, Rachel, thank you very much. A 72-year-old Shiawassee County man is getting a shot at a new sentence after being sentenced to life without parole for a murder he committed as a teenager. Daniel Wheeler was 17 years old in 1970 when his ex-girlfriend, Erlinda Paz, was killed. Paz was 2 months pregnant and had told Wheeler the baby was his. Wheeler was convicted in part based on testimony from a friend who said Wheeler took him to the place the body was found and asked him to help bury it. He served 55 years in prison, but today the Michigan Supreme Court ruled he did not meet the criteria for a juvenile to be sentenced to life in prison. The justices ordered the Shiawassee County Circuit Court to re-sentence Wheeler to a term of years. The Supreme Court also ruled today that a Howell teenager who recorded 2 classmates attacking another student cannot be charged with assault. That attack was carried out in August of 2021 by 2 Howell High School students who beat a new student at the school with shoes. The victim ended up with a concussion and PTSD. Now, prosecutors charged the teen who recorded the attack as an adult with assault with great bodily harm less than murder. They argued he participated in the attack by encouraging the other teens. However, the state Supreme Court rejected that charge, saying he never touched the shoes used in the attack. And staying with rulings from the state's highest court, in 2018, a fiery crash in the UP left a snowmobiler permanently disabled and a Michigan Department of Natural Resources employee dead. Now the Michigan Supreme Court has issued a major decision in a years-long legal battle. Our Tessa Kresh has the details.
Siobhan, snowmobiler Mark Goss collided with an ATV operated by a DNR employee who allegedly blew through a stop sign. It happened on Trail 8 near Sault Ste. Marie, and the crash resulted in a massive fireball explosion, severely injuring Goss. His medical expenses were over $1 million. He sued the Michigan DNR for negligent operation of a motor vehicle. But governmental immunity, a legal protection for government agencies like the DNR, has made it a long uphill battle. Today, though, the Michigan Supreme Court made a pivotal decision reversing the Court of Appeals. Notably, this is the second time Goss has successfully challenged governmental immunity. I spoke with Goss's attorney today, who shared what this decision means to his client.
When I talked to Mr. Goss this morning, I mean, he was crying. He was so happy because he thought, here's a guy who's totally disabled. His hands are burned. His body's burned. It's very difficult for him to function. So when I got to tell him the Michigan Supreme Court disagreed with the Court of Appeals, and we're now back in the game, he was so ecstatic he was crying. It was a great holiday gift for him.
This decision could pave the way for Goss's claims to be heard in court after years of legal hurdles. For now, his attorneys say this is an important step towards accountability. Siobhan, back to you.
All right, thank you, Tessa. A suspected drunk driver crashed into a vacant building in Summit Township early this morning. Police were called out just before 1:30 to the intersection of Francis Street and Avondale Avenue. That's just south of the Jackson city limits near Woodland Cemetery. Police say the crash caused significant structural damage to the building, which is a former credit union. Neighbors say this is the second time within a year a car has crashed into this building.
The way that he hit the building this time, like they had to have a couple fire trucks out here, make sure there was no structural damage that would allow it to collapse. I took a look as they were pulling the truck out, and his entire front end was just smashed up. Like maybe we need to up our fence so next time if they hit us, we have a little bit more protection.
There were no injuries reported in this crash. The driver, a 41-year-old man, was arrested for suspected drunk driving and taken to the Jackson County Jail. Well, now that Christmas is over, it's time to start thinking about taking down that tree. And while some of you might be willing to procrastinate until Valentine's Day, there is a benefit to taking it down a couple of weeks early, of course. That's because several cities and townships will help you get rid of your real Christmas tree responsibly. In Meridian Township, community members can drop off their trees at Nancy Moore Park in Hazlet for free, or you can drop off your tree at Meridian Township's Recycling Center at any time during regular business hours, though you will have to pay for that. If you live in Delta Township, you can take your tree to the township's recycling center. This option is available on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays now through the end of January. The township says it will chip the trees to use them for landscaping projects. And in East Lansing, the city will come right to your house and pick them up. And you can also take them to one of 5 parks: Patriarch, Emerson, Henry Fine, Valley Court, or White Memorial, though you will have to hang on to those trees until January 6th before giving them up.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Or I suppose you could be like Siobhan, who celebrates Christmas in July and says the best way to do that is just to leave the tree up year round. I'm with you there. Christmas time, often we think of snowfall, but this year not so much, and our snow potential over the next week or so is not all that great. There could be a little trace snow amounts around the region next Tuesday, but until then there is not much. Even to the north, the UP not going to see a whole lot of snow, at least in the next 6 days. Now beyond that, it does get cold and snowfall will return. After 50s Saturday, 40s Sunday and Monday, we're looking at 20s for an extended period of time starting around Wednesday or Thursday of next week, and there'll be some lake effect snow to go along with that as well. This is primarily going to affect the eastern U.S. Western U.S. is going to begin to warm up. There's going to be an area of low pressure over the Hudson Bay, and that's going to push cold fronts periodically in our direction and keep us below average once the cold air gets here. This weekend, though, we're looking at widespread rainfall to the tune of an inch or more once you total it all up. You look at it day by day, showers out there today, showers especially as we head into Sunday. Notice by Monday, storm system starts to move out. Tuesday's system, I've got a 30% chance in there just in case this comes a little further north, which it may, but overall that system not looking too impressive. Lots of rain showers around mid-Michigan this afternoon. We'll see scattered showers continuing for the evening hours and into tomorrow morning. Our first storm system begins to push further north, so we'll see quiet weather tomorrow afternoon, variably cloudy skies, and it will be breezy but warm. Moving into Sunday morning, widespread rain returns to the area. Some of it could be locally heavy out there as this next area of low pressure passes to our south. And I know a lot of you who watch weather regularly know, boy, if it tracks to the Ohio Valley or to our south, that usually means some snow for us, but There's just no cold air in place. Otherwise, this would be a big snow for mid-Michigan. Unfortunately, if you don't like to shovel, it's looking just wet instead of white. Skyview Network this afternoon, kind of a gloomy afternoon in the evening. Temperature 44 degrees. We picked up 507 inch of rainfall while in Grand Ledge. Similar temperature 44. The high today made it up to 46. Managed to pick up a 1/10 of an inch of rain with a little more on the way this evening. Jackson Cam, 42 degrees is the current temperature. Rainfall total 400. So we had a wind gust up to 23 miles per hour, more impressive than other areas like Hillsdale that saw really very little wind, 19 miles per hour, 907 inch of rain, and our current temperature at 43. Our readings between 40 and 45 will stay there through midnight, and then late tonight after that low of 42 will start to rise and be in the low 50s tomorrow morning. We'll hang in the 50s all day tomorrow, and the rainfall, it will move out, but then move back in on Sunday, and then move out on Monday, and then move back in on Tuesday. You get the idea. Next week does look colder, highs in the 20s by Thursday. Next weekend we've got some snow showers and probably some light accumulations, and we stay in the 20s. Once we get there and the cold air gets here, it doesn't show signs of leaving anytime soon.
Yeah, but you're not seeing any signs of major winter snowfall at this point.
No, typically when you get that first blast of air, there'll be a low pressure with that, but not this time. We get the cold air without the heavy snow.
All right, David, thank you so much. Well, coming up, wrestlers are heading to downtown Lansing this weekend for a big event, and businesses are expecting huge crowds. Stay tuned. 6 News at 6. We'll be right back.